Hello, everybody. Today we are trying out Paul Rubens oil pastels for the first time. Welcome to Art Prof. We are a global art party. These are the pastels. They're called Paul Rubens HAIYA. You know something? I totally thought this is a Peter Paul Rubens reference. I thought that's what this brand was, but apparently it's just Paul Rubens. And by the way, quick shout out to Zertin, who is the person responsible for sending these oil pastels to me. So thank you so much for making this stream possible. Let's see what they look like. Oh, it has like a little pamphlet here. Let's see what the pamphlet says. Oh, look, it's got these little swatches of all the colors. Oh, look, it's so cute. Look at that. All the colors. And it looks like on the back, okay, you can see those are the different sets that they have. They have some examples for how to do stippling, mixed color, gradients, and most important of all, everybody, let more people like Chinese colors, whatever that's supposed to mean. It's like, wow, that's some really good copy that the advertising agency did for them. Okay, this is a little paper chart. So if I want to take the time to do some swatches, and here they are. They're so juicy looking. I'm so excited. Tell me in the comments, how many of you here have used oil pastels? And if you have, what brands? And if you've never used oil pastels before, tell me what you're working on this week. What project, what media? All right. And a reminder to everybody that if you guys want to come into the Discord, if you go to the Art Alongs channel, which is down here, you guys can see this is where I've already posted a lot of images, so it'll make it easier for all of you to see the supplies. I will also be posting works in progress. So if you guys want to work with me on the live stream, you can post in that channel and I'll give you a shout out. Okay, let's give these a shot. I actually need to adjust my camera. Sorry, it's a little bit dark in here. Hopefully this makes it a little bit easier for everybody to see. Let's try a nice rich blue to get started. I always like to peel these so that way, oh, these are sticky. Oh man, I can already feel how messy they're going to be. Whoa, these are really soft. They're almost comparable to the Sennelier. Oops, oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, they're so soft. They're like Sennelier, but just a little bit more stiff, but these are not stiff. I would imagine these are the kinds of oil pastels, because they're so soft, you probably could just burn through these really quickly. The pigment is very good, nice and rich, very good coverage. Let me see what it looks like if I put some colors on top of each other. So basically, if you want something that is similar to Sennelier, but isn't quite so soft, this would be the way to go. Okay, let's see what it looks like if I... Yeah, I definitely like these better than the Senneliers. The only thing I would say, I don't think that a set like this would, for me, last a very long time. I feel like I would go through these very fast. I didn't feel like that, definitely not for the Caran d'Ache, not so much with the Mungyo, but the Sennelier and this Paul Rubens set is really, really soft. Let's see what it looks like if I blend the colors on top. I'm putting this on newsprint, so this probably doesn't look that great. Let's try some of the other colors. Yeah, see that? Very, very soft. Tell me in the comments how many people here like their oil pastels to be super soft, and how many of you like them stiffer. I probably would say that the Caran d'Ache is the stiffest. Sennelier is definitely the softest. Mungyo's in between. I just want to try what this yellow looks like on top and how these smudge. And you know something? I also brought some baby oil, and I'm gonna just squirt a little tiny bit into the cap because I don't like to have too much of it. But let's just see how it smears. Oh, it's pretty thick. I feel like I have to use quite a bit of baby oil to get it to do anything. Yeah, because it's pretty thick when it goes on for being so soft. Yeah, I guess that's what we have. Something that is a step below what the Senneliers are. I mean, look at my fingers. They're already really disgusting. I'm going to try some strokes going in the other direction. And let's check out some of the darker colors, like maybe this dark brown. Ow. See this? Like that was the tip, and I just like burned right through it. Let's see what happens if I... Yeah, I would say when they go down, they go on pretty thick, which actually makes them a lot easier to smudge. Sometimes they're not so easy to smudge because there just isn't that much pigment on it. But these, I think, are actually really easy to smudge for that reason. Some of the other oil pastels, it's, in my opinion, a lot of effort. Yeah, they smudge great. Look at that. All right, I'm going to take some photos so that way you guys can see up close what these effects look like. To me, what really stands out is just how thick they go on and how quickly you would go through them. Okay, so these I'm going to put into the Discord, and let's come back here and see what people are talking about. Oh, actually, let me pull up the Discord so I can show all of you a lot better close up so you can really see what the textures are like. Okay. Hope some of you guys are coming into the Discord because the Discord is awesome, and it's where I spend the vast majority of my time to interact with all of you. So if you're not in the Discord, I'm nudging you to join us because that's where I feel like I really can get to know a lot of you. It's a little bit limited on YouTube. Okay, so let's see a close-up. So does everybody see how thick it is? And even this area here where I smudged, you can see it's pretty rich in pigment. Sometimes people smudge but in the process, you end up smudging so much that there's not a lot left over. These are very substantial. Let's zoom in even more. Hope you guys like these details. These are thick. And here too, you can see the richness of the pigment. I guess that's the only thing that I would be a little bit concerned about, is just how quickly you probably would burn through these. Okay, let's take a look at what people are talking about in the chat. Counselor Chip is asking, how do they compare with oil sticks? Very different. Oil sticks, just in general, regardless of the brand that you're using, they're so much messier because oil sticks are literally oil paint. It's just in a stick. So it does squish everywhere and it does get muddy pretty fast. The thing that I like about oil pastels, because they're not so smushy like the oil sticks, it is easier to retain vibrant colors. The oil sticks, it's like it's just going everywhere. It's very hard to control. And actually, I don't think I'd ever want to use oil bars entirely by themselves. I feel like at a certain point, I would want to go back in with oil paints. Aster's asking, is baby oil okay if you want art to last? I'm not totally sure about that. I'd have to talk to a conservator. I'm kind of thinking it's not. I don't know a huge amount about the chemistry of oil pastels. So if you do, tell us in the chat, because I know that Marta was here. Marta, I hope you're still here, who was doing quite a bit of oil pastel experiments with Gamsol. We've been talking about it this week in Art Club because Marta's doing this wonderful piece with fire and oil pastels, but I don't have the science on that, unfortunately. Selena says, only used them a couple times in high school, hated it, don't remember what brand. The thing about oil pastels, the brand can be so different. If I compare these to the Caran d'Ache oil pastels, it's practically a different material. There are other brands within a certain art media that I think, oh, it doesn't really matter. This, it really, really does matter because some people want them really soft. Like for me, the Senneliers were way too soft. I found them very hard to control. Caran d'Ache is probably my nice base. I think Mungyo is also a great base. If I do use Sennelier, it's just a little bit at a time. I don't do the whole thing in Sennelier. The one live demo where I did the whole thing in Sennelier was just this horrible mess. For me, it wasn't a great fit for that. Oh, George, you used them back in junior high. You're of the generation where we call it junior high, whereas today everybody says middle school. Yes, very, very bright. I'm really happy about the pigment. Neil is asking, how does it compare to Mungyo in terms of the softness and stickiness? Way stickier. I feel like the Mungyo, they're a little bit creamier. They sort of glide a little bit more. These are a little bit coarser, but they're definitely way softer than the Mungyo. Seven Ari is asking, what are good ways to store oil pastel works? Recently bought a few different brands. I usually put something like tracing paper on top. You don't want to put something like newsprint because it's going to get the newsprint fibers into the oil pastel drawing. And then the other option is you can get Sennelier makes an oil pastel fixative. Actually, I can show that to you guys right now. For now, you can think about Our workshops, we've got 2 coming up, and actually the one that I'm doing today, drawing bugs, is because of the bugs workshop. I know it's here. Yes. That got to be a world record for me finding the art supply. Okay, so this is it. This is the, here, that's better. This is the Sennelier oil pastel fixative. The one I did it on, my oil pastel drawing, was way too thick. So for me, it didn't help very much, but I'm sure for just the average oil pastel drawing, it's probably just fine. Okay, we also have some other questions. And by the way, if you have a question, it's very helpful for me if you type question in all caps and then type your question. Sometimes I miss the question, in which case you can post it again, but be patient because you guys are a lively bunch and I love that. We also have a question from Randy. Is there a kind of paper that helps soft pastels last longer? Depends on the brand, because some soft pastels, similarly to oil pastels, you just burn through them because they're just so soft. Some of them, like new pastels, are not that soft, so they last a little bit longer. But largely, you'll go through them faster if you use something that's coarser. So for example, a soft pastel board that I really like is called Pastel Board, B-O-R-D. And I'll put this in the comments for you. So for Randy, you can get Pastel Board made by ampersand. And that's a really beautiful surface. It is coarse, though. Not everybody likes that necessarily, but that is something where you would end up using more of the soft pastels. Brian's asking, why is there no dust? It's because these are oil-based. So because they have the oil to hold them together, you don't get any dust. It's awesome. That's the thing. I really don't like soft pastels because they are incredibly fragile and hard to take care of. Oh, right, Blue. Use the oil pastel to get it off your hands. Oh says, I sort of like oil pastel, but I don't know how to store them and frame them. I've heard they never dry, but then how do you put them in a frame? They're okay to put in a frame. It's not the same thing in terms of dryness the way oil paint is. Like oil paint, it like dries, okay? Oil pastel, it doesn't dry the way a painting does, but it definitely has a hardness. I mean, if you had your oil pastel drawing and you put it in the sun all day, it probably would melt. So you would have to take precautions to make sure it's in a cool, dry area. Oh gosh, yes. Everything has a different name now, everybody. It's very hard for us who are older folks. But yes, maybe the Paul Rubens brand is actually Pee Wee Herman oil pastels. Okay, raise your hand if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Raise your hand if you remember and were traumatized by Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I was traumatized by Large March. That was so horrible. Zerton is asking, are they stinky? Let me see. Not for me, but I do know that some people are very sensitive to smells. I don't know if I think I'm just smelling baby oil at this point. We have pro tip from Anna, don't put any acetate on a wet oil pastel painting. It will stick. I did this when I was packing up at the end of a residency and discovered that the acetate stuck. Oh, really? I had no idea it would do that. Have you ever tried glassine, Anna? I know that Lauren uses that a lot to separate things. Marge Misa. Oh, that I wish I could unsee that movie. I mean, it's probably fine now, but when you're a kid, it's a little bit dramatic. Okay, let's get back into this. And a reminder to everybody, post what you make into the Discord because I will be giving you a shout out. Share what you make during the stream. To be clear, it's stuff you're making during the stream. It's not like, for example, we have a channel in Discord called Show and Tell. And in Show and Tell, you can share anything. But the art-alongs, I'd love to see what people are actually working on. Okay. Now, the reference that I'm using is of this bumblebee that I took a picture of. I believe it was in, where was it? I think it was in southern Utah. Anyway, let me pull that up. And I'm using two different references because one of the references has really good articulation of the bee. This one does not. Oh, no, this one does. Okay, this is the one that has things that are more in focus. However, I like the pose of this one better. So I'm going to use the pose of this bumblebee, but then when I get up to do individual things like the legs, I will then go in and look at this piece. And I am going to draw the entire scene. I think that's really helpful in terms of color because the lavender purple behind the bee is very important in terms of getting the bee to really stick out. Okay. Actually, this is too bright now. Hang on. I'm going to change my camera angle. I think that's better. Okay, there we go. Let's start. Maybe I'll start with the light purple, but it doesn't look like there's really a light purple. Oh, wait, maybe I'll use this color. There's like a... oh, I should use this. Okay, here we go. This is a lightish purple. And what I want to do is block out the big shapes. Sometimes I do this. I just take my hand to try to feel out the shapes of things. I do want the bee to be pretty big. Maybe the bee is like that big. And I'll have the flower go off the top of the page. So really quickly, I'm trying to place things. So I want the petals going across. I'm just trying to figure out the shape. Okay, we'll have the big flower going off the page. All right, so the flower is going to be really gigantic because I want it to really sit in the background. And I do want, there's this like really big flower in the foreground. And I'm going to have it going off the page. By the way, so we can nudge more people into the Discord. How many of you guys are in the Discord? How many of you are in there, but maybe you're not so active? And that's fine. Sometimes life gets in the way of hanging out with us. We'll forgive you. Okay, so the scale of the bee. I might move him a little lower. You know, I'll make the flower petals down here. I'll make them smaller. That way it gives me a little more space. Okay, so these are now going to be not so tall. Turn down the light. It's still a little bit too bright. Okay, that'll make it easier for you guys to see. Because I need space for those wings. All right, so we're going to make the bee really big. It's gigantic. I'm just trying to show the direction of the wings. Oh, he's still too high. I got to move him all the way down. Okay, his body has to be here. Does everybody see how many times I drew that body? It was here, and then here, and then I moved it all the way down. This is the time to be making that change. You don't want to have to do that after you've done all this really nice work that you don't want to get rid of. Actually, he's got pretty small wings. This one's a little bigger. Oh, I still feel like that's... All right, I got to bring him down because I'm missing this wing. I don't want that wing to go off the page. So actually, let's put the bee all the way down here. Started here, couple more shifts, got him down here. People ask me about how to fix proportions and placement. This is how you do it. You do it very, very early on before anything has happened. If you don't catch yourself, if you don't stop and say, okay, let me check the proportions and everything, before you know it, you've drawn the whole thing, and yet something doesn't fit. Okay, this is better. I'm really proud of myself that I shot this photo, everybody. It's not, of course, super in focus or amazing or anything like that, but I'm very proud that I managed to get this photo, given that I'm not a nature photographer. I have gotten some pretty good photos of hummingbirds, though. I was very proud of that as well. Actually, I'm going to switch to a yellow because that's more the color of this bug. I'm going to slightly indicate the antenna. And then slight indication of the legs. Man, I made him fat. What the heck? Oh, his body is too small. Yeah, he's really plump. Actually, the head is too big. I think I'm going to make that a little smaller. I don't want to pick too much at this, but what I'm doing here, it's a slight color change. So that way I can see the yellow over some of the blue. And that just makes it easier for me to separate what's what. Okay, so now we have the entire bug, and the bug is in yellow. And then maybe the flower, I'm going to switch to a... I really wish they had a lavender. They don't really have a good lavender. But I just want to... Oh, that's too dark. I need something a lot lighter. All right, we're going to go back to this one. I couldn't see that one at all. I'm just going to throw in a couple of these little buds because I think these are nice the way they get smaller as they go back into the distance. I'm just pulling out a couple. I'm not trying to make these look amazing. This one, though, I am going to take the time to articulate. You can see the bud in there. So you can see now this one's really big. Okay, let's go back to these light flowers down here. I'm going to make this one go behind the bee because I want the bee to really pop. By the way, who likes honey? Since we're talking about bees, I really like honey in my tea. That is my favorite place to have honey. And actually, did you know Utah is like the bee state or something? I had no idea about that. And I have some family members who raise bees. God, you could not pay me to do that. That's so terrifying. Oh, and there's a big one over here. Okay, so that's a good beginning for that section. And I want to bring in now, there's like this really big flower that's underneath the bee that I think is a pretty important shape. And I'm spending time on the entire background because the backgrounds really contextualize how the color is going to work. We are talking today in art club about color schemes. Nancy, I don't know if you're here, but about how helpful it is to come up with a color scheme in advance, but then to make sure that you really spend time doing different color thumbnails to test them out, because it is hard to just look at a set of colors and say, oh, is that a good set of colors? It's like you really don't know until you've actually put the thing in place. Now see here, I'm just putting slight indications of those things. Okay, let me take a photo and we'll get this into the Discord for people to see. And I'll do some close-ups so you guys can see what the oil pastel is like. Okay. Let's get back into this. And what I want to do first is pull up the Discord. Hope you guys are going to come into the Discord, because the thing is, when you post in the Discord, you get to share with the whole community, and people have such great interactions with each other. Oh my gosh, that is large Marge coffee. Okay, that's really terrifying. Oh my gosh. Okay, we have Zelda, who is working on rubber stamps. Oh, these are beautiful, Zelda. Oh, your prints are so beautiful and elegant. I love doing rubber stamps. Oh, Zelda, is this something at the bottom? Are you doing a graphite transfer with the tulip? That is so lovely. Okay, so Anna is working on Art Dare entries. Left is a tree fairy, right is a flower fairy. Yeah, it was just a coincidence, Anna. You were telling me that you're doing stuff for your graphic novel, which has these creatures, and it just was this perfect coincidence that that happens to be the Art Dare this month. It's fairies, trolls, gnomes, and is it elves? I can't remember. I can't remember my own Art Dare, but yeah, I love seeing these because we had chatted earlier in Open Studios, Anna, and these have a really lovely grace to them because of that green you have. The green is very light. It's not that same almost electric green that I've seen you use in some of your paintings, Anna. Oh, okay. Yes, Marta, thank you so much for sharing these. So Marta did these photographs of a bonfire, and these are just so intense. I hope you shared one of your drawings, Marta. If not, we'd love for you to share that again. And this is, oh, okay, cool. So this is Marta's first layer. Mungyo oil pastels, not as stiff, but still pretty firm. Let me get them melty. They're softer. Best of both worlds. Okay, great. So this is Marta's beginning of that photograph that I just showed all of you guys. And I've seen Marta do some other fire pieces. There were two other ones, I believe. We've been talking about them in art club together. It's been really fun to watch that progress. Okay, so Randy says this is a fun mess around page. Oh, right, you told me about the brand new Posca markers. Well, we expect a full report back, Randy, of what you think about these Posca markers. I have not really used them very much, but I know a lot of people really like them. Oh, cool. Tara says working with Faber-Castell pig pastels. I don't think I've ever used those before, Tara. Let's zoom in. Ha ha ha. I love zooming in, seeing marks really up close. Oh, you already got the sheen, Tara. Even at this very early stage, we're seeing that really well. Yeah, so remember, everybody, if you come into the Discord and you post in the Art Alongs channel, I'll give you a shout out. Oh, thank you, Marta, for posting. Yeah, so this is one of the fire oil pastels that Marta has been working on. And then this is the second one where I'd mentioned Marta's working with Gamsol and trying to see how to move that around with the oil pastel. So yes, we've been talking quite a bit about oil pastels in Art Club. It's a very popular material that I know a lot of people really enjoy using. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. We also have Henselt, sorry. What would you say is a strength of oil pastels? It's a color drawing medium that I think is very painterly. For example, if you compare it against something like colored pencil, you draw with it, you get color, but colored pencil doesn't have that like nice, rich pigment color. Colored pencil, I find, number one, very slow, and number two, it's just so much work to build up color. Oil pastel makes it very easy. You don't have to press that hard. You get the rich pigment right away. And it's also great if you want to do anything textured. That's one thing I really like about it because I happen to love texture. So it's the perfect drawing material for me. If you're somebody who prefers like something very detailed, something very smooth, oil pastel probably isn't the best fit for that because the tips are really blunt and the color does get messy. Like it's hard to get like super smooth, even color for oil pastel. So I'd say if you like rich pigments of color without the mess of painting, but also some texture, this would be a very good material for you. Jamie says, I've just bought a few boxes of HAIYAs as they've been on sale. Oh, well, tell us how you like them, Jamie. I'm always curious because people react to art supplies in very different ways, depending on the type of artist they are. Zerton says, HAIYA also makes soft pastels, and they are so much more expensive than the oil pastels. I wonder why. Yeah, it's really hard to tell because, well, so here's the thing. Oil pastels, I don't think I put them in the category of the more you pay, the better. I do feel that way about paint. For example, student grade paint versus professional paint. It's like, wow. But those Mungyo oil pastels, those are pretty affordable. The Senneliers are so expensive. And it's not because they're better. It's just that they're different. So that's the thing is people assume, okay, well, the Senneliers, they're $80. The Mungyo are $40. Oh, well, there's got to be something about the Sennelier that's better. It's like, no, an oil pastel, it's just different. So it depends on preferences, really. Oh, I see we have a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Guys remember Cherry? Jamie's asking, what kind of paper are you working on? It's Canson Mi Tient Touch. If you guys go down to the video description below, you will see that I have the art supply link, also the names of everything, and also the links to the reference photos as well. You guys can find those all down there. And we also have Harold. Are there precautions taken for oil pastels that are similar to the precautions for oil paints, or are they completely different? Totally different. You don't really have to worry about oil pastels getting on your hands. I mean, I use them with little kids. It's really no problem at all. Oil paints, whole other story. So that's another thing I was saying is that you get that richness of color without having to deal with all the cleanup and stuff like that. I mean, sure, your hands get really disgusting, but it's not that bad compared to, say, oil paint. Yes, don't eat them. That's certain. That's a very, very bad idea. Ha, we have some testimonials. Renee, who says, I love this Discord. Everyone should pop in and check it out. So helpful and fun. And yes, thank you for being my poster child, Hannah. Discord's great. Used to be intimidated, but it only took a few times to get used to it. And we've got moderators. We've got lovely community members who are so happy to help anybody. So basically, you come in, and if you're worried, oh, am I doing something wrong? I don't know where to find this. Somebody will step in and help you. We do a really, well, I think we do a really good job keeping things organized, having a mod team, providing any tech support that people need. We also have, thank you. Oh. Wow, you are being a troublemaker, aren't you? Honey on scrambled eggs. Oh, I've never tried that before. And we also have Jamie, who says, I was in an art store in Montreal yesterday, was told not to use fixative on oil pastels. He said to let them cure and frame them under glass. Well, I wasn't there, obviously, Jamie, but I don't know if they were talking about the fixatives you use for charcoal, or if they're talking about this one, which is made specifically for oil pastels. I'm not sure. Again, the only way I would know for sure is I'd have to talk to a conservator. Thank you so much, Jovel, for catching a live session. Jovel, sorry, has taken some workshops, and I just love it when you guys drop in here. So thank you so much for that super chat. And Missa says, what subjects do you think are best for oil pastels or Caran d'Ache crayons? My feel on them is gardens and flowers. Oh, they really work well for anything that has bright colors and also textures. For example, I think oil pastels would be great for drawing food, drawing a big cupcake or something with really pretty red frosting or something like that. I mean, you really can use them for anything. It just depends on the look you want. But I do really like that inherent texture that oil pastels have. All right, let's get back into this. All right. And a reminder to everybody, Art Club, that is our best program for learning. It is where you will get unstuck. You can chat with us. We're pros, and you can make artist friends. Tell me in the comments, when's the last time you guys felt like you were stuck? And what is the thing that you were stuck on? Because the getting stuck thing can be incredibly frustrating. And I have so much sympathy for that. It's just so difficult. I'm trying to figure out, I think I need something more pinkish. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to start with the white, and then I'll fill in some of the pink stuff. But anyway, when's the last time you got stuck? Was it you did a painting and you didn't know what to do next? Was it being in between projects and really not knowing what was the next move for you? Because sometimes that's the hardest thing, is just getting in and saying to yourself, well, what do I do next? That is oftentimes very challenging for a lot of people. Okay, this I'm going to break. So the thing that I think Art Club is very good at is getting you unstuck. Because so many of us, we get to a point and we just think to ourselves, God, what do I do next? And most of us cannot figure that out by ourselves. Most of us need support so we don't waste our time searching for all these things. My latest waste of time experience, I was I was using Premiere. No, I was using Audition. And I'm not good at it. And so I was having trouble with the mic. The mic was not at the sound level I wanted it to be. And you know something? I looked at so many articles. I read a whole bunch of forums. I didn't find the answer because every stupid article was like, well, you changed the mic gain. And then another one was like, oh no, it's actually the Shure mic that's the problem. And I was like, oh my God, I do not have the headspace for this. This is so much work. So in that moment, I remember thinking, oh man, I need like a online forum with sound engineers who could actually give me the real answer. Because you know something, again, sound is something I'm so bad at. But I took a workshop a little ways back with a sound engineer who works at NPR. And the workshop was cool, but actually, you know what the best part of the workshop was? There were so many people in that chat who were way more advanced than me, which is basically they knew two things. And I got so much great advice. And actually, the mic that I use now regularly, that is my favorite mic for shooting on site. That is the one that I use now, is the one that a whole bunch of people in there recommended. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, if I had tried to like read reviews of every single thing that was out there, I really think I would have died. So that's where I think Art Club can really save you time instead of searching around and, oh, is this right? But this said that. You just come in and we can just tell you, oh yeah, that's a waste of time. Oh no, use this one instead. Because another thing is I actually recently joined Jay Klaus's community, and his is for online creators, so very different crowd. But I think you guys know I am not a business person, but I have to do business things to keep Art Prof up and running. And after I joined the community, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner? This is really, really helpful. And I really think he's saved me a lot of time. And so I think Art Club is sort of a similar thing, that a lot of people are spending a ton of time trying to find an answer. And oftentimes the answer is not even the thing that you were looking for. So it's extra frustrating. All right, I'm going to keep peeling things. And I'm just going to toss in patches of color. I'm not going to do any details. You'll notice I'm drawing with the edge. Actually, this orange is pretty see-through. I think I might have to put down some burnt sienna first. That's the thing about lots of oranges and yellows. They're very transparent. So oftentimes you have to put another color down first. So I'm just going to do a base of this burnt sienna. Did I take a photo of the line drawing? Shoot. Sometimes I forget. Let me just double check the Discord. Oh, I did. Okay, good. But yeah, the getting stuck thing, that just feels really bad sometimes. It's just, and it becomes time consuming. And I still haven't fixed it. The thing that I'm having trouble with. It's still a problem. Okay, this is, it's a little bit green, but you know what I'm going to do? Oh, actually, this is the perfect color. Look at this. Okay, perfect. All right, I got to change my camera settings, everybody, because now that I have all this white in here, it's changing the light. So give me a sec. Okay, yeah, that's much, much better. Okay. Because the getting stuck thing, it happens all the time. And I think while everything is different, depending on the experience, I like knowing, okay, when I get into that patch, I know that this is the thing to do. So you have an option and you don't feel like, oh God, what do I do? That's, I think, the hardest thing is when you are stuck on something as an artist and you really feel like, oh God, I really don't know. For example, we were talking in art club the other day about artist scams, which unfortunately there are a lot of them out there. And so what I've been telling people in the Discord is, listen, don't try to figure it out by yourself. Post a screenshot in the Discord so that we can look at it and help you figure out if that's a scam, because so much of the time it is a scam. And of course we have a video on how to spot scams. If you just look up Art Prof scams, you guys will find it. But unfortunately, I know many people who have gotten those, and they're tricky. So if you get into trouble with that, everybody, come into our Discord and ask us to help you, because it's really, really confusing. So one of the scams we were talking about was a place that was saying that they would help somebody get a lot of followers on Instagram really quickly. And I think oftentimes it's bots that are promising that they get you the followers by using bots. And it's just very, very confusing. Okay, we're just going to block in a little bit more brown on the bee. I'm going to wait to do more details on the bee. These are very sticky, though. I will warn everybody. They're very messy. The Mungyo's, to me, were not messy. These are absolutely very, very messy. Actually, I'm going to do some blue. Maybe even some purple down here. I don't want to just do brown, because this brown paper, I think it'll look weird if I just do the brown. Okay, let's block in some of the purples. Gonna see what kind of purple I can get in. Actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use the blue for some of these tops, and then I'll just work some darker purple on top of it. I am liking these, though. They're nice and like rich and chunky, and I feel like I can really jump around a lot. So good call, Zerton, on getting these for me. And remember, everybody, if you have an art supply you would like me to try, feel free to send it to me. I do have my wish list. It is in the video description below. But if you go to my wish list and the thing is not there, just let me know. You can type here, tell me in the Discord, and I can certainly help you. I can put it on my wish list. That's the easiest thing. Oh, this one's pretty good. Okay, it's a little bit too blue, but you just have to put something down at this stage. Okay, let me get some of the purple going. Oh, it's still really blue. I guess I just have to go in with a red to pull that out. But actually, the thing I really want to do is get some green back there, just as a placeholder. Oh, and actually, I didn't really finish this up. I'm just going to put down white because I'm going to smear some other stuff in. See this? It's like this is like gone. There's only like half of the white left. Okay, we need some greens. There's some pretty bright greens in here, actually. So let me just throw in a couple spots of the bright green. because it's sort of like peeking out in a number of areas. And then we'll get in some brighter green. So I'm just throwing in like little patches of color. I'm not really doing that much. It's just to place the colors. Eventually I'll add more. But it's just so I can look at this and say, yes, there's green back there. Okay, so that's a pretty good beginning. Let me take a photo of this and I'll put it inside the chat so you can all see up close. I'll also do some details. They do feel good. I will say that. Okay. All right, so these are going to go into the Discord. And you guys can see here, Marta says, getting stuck. I find it so helpful to look at my work from a distance and upside down. Yeah, that's a great trick. Get a fresh pair of eyes on your piece. Because we're sitting here looking at the work for hours and hours, and you get to a point where you just feel like you can't see anything. Okay, I'm going to put these into the Discord. Oh, here's another thing, you guys. It's getting all over my phone. This is nasty. Okay, I don't think I posted the earlier versions of the sketch, so I'm going to post those as well. So if you guys come in here, you'll see, well, it's taking a minute to load. But anyway, you guys can take a look at that. But yes, I need to clean my fingers. This is so sticky and gross. Yuck. It's all over my mouse. My mouse is like got white fingerprints on it. Ew. Luckily, oil pastels are very easy to remove. Like I can just wipe it off my mouse, which is a lot better. Okay. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Whimsy Squirrel says, love oil pastels. Oil pastel portrait demos are my favorite. How would you compare these to Sennelier? Almost as soft. Not quite as soft, but pretty close. For example, these might actually be nice to use like the Sennelier, but they're not as squishy. So they would be good if you're somebody who wants to have a little more control. The Senneliers, I found those very hard to control, but sometimes people want that. Jamie says, saw a video suggested that you put the HAIYAs in the fridge. Oh, use them to keep them more firm to work with. Oh, that's a smart idea. Because, yeah, I already used half the white. The white is like gone. I would definitely need more. Hen Salt says, would oil pastels be good for practicing values? I think if you want to do just like straight black and white and you have a white oil pastel and a black oil pastel, you could. But for me, oil pastel is so much about the color, and color and value certainly have a relationship. In fact, we were talking about this in art club as well today, about how color is one thing, value is another thing. They absolutely intertwine. But I know for a lot of people, it's too much to try to think about both at the same time. So oftentimes what I'll do, similar to what somebody said earlier, I'll take my drawing and I'll make it black and white so I can take a look at the value. That's something I do a lot. Yeah, Lisa, I would say they're pretty close to Sennelier. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm pretty sure these are not that expensive. The Sennelier ones are so pricey. If somebody wants to look it up for me, Sennelier oil pastels, I feel like I remember them being like way more expensive than the other oil pastels. Okay, so Fried says, I have both Mangyo and the HAIYA. HAIYA are much softer than Mangyo. I use them as a final layer on my pictures. Okay, so you've got Pentel, Mangyo, and HAIYA. And that's a great point that you bring up, Fried, because I also do not stick to a single brand with oil pastel. I like Caran d'Ache as my initial layer. I think I probably would use Mangyo on top of it, and then either the HAIYA or the Sennelier. So basically you want the stiffest oil pastel to be at the beginning, and the super soft oil pastel should be later. There's no hard rule that says you have to do that, but if you have a very soft, smushy thing on the bottom, it's just very hard to put the hard oil pastels on top. Blue red. Come on, Clara, you wouldn't have died if you read all those reviews. You just would have had to spend some time with ICU. Jen says, how are you liking the oil pastels? How do they compare to the Mangyos? They definitely have more resistance to them. The Mangyos are creamier. They feel smoother. These don't feel that smooth. I'm not saying that they feel coarse, but there's definitely resistance happening. The Mangyo, I felt, just sort of glided across the surface. So we have some people who get stuck. I mean, we all get stuck at a certain point. And Fried says, the only time I get stuck is with a concept piece. The rest of the time, I just draw whatever comes to mind. Great. We also have 7A, who says, I feel like an accurate description for me would be every step is sticky, like treading honey. Oh, I like that. That's a cute little analogy, a good way to put it. Counselor Chip, stuck on 7 projects easily now. That's super normal for ADH folks. Yeah, I was talking to people earlier today in the Discord about their experiences with ADHD, and I can't speak to that experience, but absolutely it is something that impacts the way people create their pieces. Selena says, last stuck was just not being able to make what I wanted. Having a community got my butt in gear. Well, there's always some kind of barrier between, okay, here's my intent, and then here's the thing. But sometimes the steps you need to take to get to the thing are very unclear. And I think when we try to troubleshoot that on our own, sometimes we end up doing, well, very often for me, I end up doing something that's super inefficient. And it's like it took 10 times longer than it should have. And so that's why I really like just being able to say to somebody, I have a problem with this, what do I do? Because in Jay Klaus's membership, I've asked him all these things. He's like, yep, do this. And I do it and it works. It's like magic. It's so awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to be evangelizing his channel for a while because, oh my God, the guy's like telepathic. It's amazing. And Lori says, Jerry's Artorama, $137 for a set of 24 for Sennelier oil pastels. Yikes. That's a lot. I can't remember how much the Paul Rubens were, but I do not think they were over $100. So if anybody wants to, again, check stuff for me, but that's crazy. And honestly, if somebody hadn't bought those for me, I never would have spent the money. That's just so much. Oh, okay. So 7A says probably the most expensive pastels. And okay, so Whimsy Squirrel paid over 60. And Alexander says, not stuck, just too tired to do it today. If I'm really stuck, it's research time or time to set it aside and just think about it for a bit. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to say, well, if I'm stuck, here are the 3 things that I have as an option. So you're not feeling like you have to invent everything from scratch. Counselor Chip is asking, are there any 3D or sculpture people in art club. Oh yeah, Salinas is here in the chat. Salinas has been doing all kinds of wonderful 3D processes. I feel like I can't even list them all. There's so many of them. But the thing I will tell you guys in terms of joining art club is we may see just in the world more people painting and more people drawing. And I know this from my own experience that just the percentage of artists who do sculpture work three-dimensionally is just way smaller than the population of people who paint. Painting is usually a little bit more accessible. 3D, you need tools. Sometimes they're dangerous and the supplies tend to be expensive. You need some expertise to know how to use those things. However, I love it when we have people in art club doing all different kinds of things, because I was talking to somebody early today about how they said, well, I see a lot of drawings in the art club show and tell channels, and that makes me feel like I should draw. And I said, I don't think you need to do that. Just because that's what you see in the channels doesn't mean that that means you have to do that too. Because what I tell people about art club, number one, it shouldn't be stressful. That's not good. And number two, don't feel like you're not allowed to post something because you haven't seen that before. That's exactly why we want you to post it, because it is different, and that diversity we can learn a lot from. Thank you so much, Whimsy Squirrel, for the super chat. We so appreciate your support. Yes, good point from Jen. Best part about getting stuck being an art club is the critiques. I can help you figure out the next steps. Yes. Oh, okay. So Fried says under $40 on Amazon for the Paul Rubens 72 color set. Oh, wow. That is way cheaper than the Sennelier. Yeah, so Blue Wren here says, doesn't really matter what medium you're working in art club. You will pick up things from how other people use the media. And Lisa confirms we love 3D pieces in art club. All right, let's get back into my bee. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on him. I love seeing the progress in the Discord. Everybody keep posting things and I will give you a shout out at some point. Let me zoom in. I want to zoom into the bee so you guys can see it a little better. Let's check the focus. Okay, there we go. It's interesting because when I was in art school, that was definitely not the place for me to spend tons of money on different art supplies. And so I never really had the opportunity to try all of these different brands. And I feel like with people sending me supplies and stuff, I hope it's been helpful to you guys to be able to see the differences, because going shopping for art supplies, okay, I love it, but I'm just imagining if you do not have a lot of experience with art supplies and you don't know what to buy, it's very overwhelming. I am going to use black. I don't use black very often, but I feel like here I really want this eye to stand out. And it's got a super bright highlight, which I love adding. Who here likes doing that? Ah. Oh, shoot. It's too mushy. I have to peel this. It's just, oh, so satisfying. Putting in that highlight. Yes. Okay. You know, he looks a little bit like an orangutan. The head. I think I'm going to use a lot of burnt sienna. If I can find it. I feel like I spend a lot of time just like searching for things. Okay, so here, I'm going to start really looking at the direction of the stroke. So putting strokes going upwards, so we can get the, I guess it's like fur that's around the bee. I'm going to try some dark red. Oh, that's kind of nice. It's like a, yeah, oh, that's way better than the brown I had earlier. Oh, okay, I like that a lot. Cool. It's amazing. They have so much fur. He looks like a teddy bear or something. So here's a spot where I'm going to be very conscious about the direction of my strokes. So that way it really matches what's happening here at the top. That's the other thing about oil pastels, is I think it's just really important to use them in a way that every mark has a direction. So instead of, let's say you have a big area you want to fill in, instead of just coloring it in, to look at, oh, okay, so here are the ridges that are part of the bee, and I'm going to push my strokes in that same direction. I'll keep the colors somewhat real looking, but not a huge amount. Yeah, there's so much maroon in here. I was not expecting that. This is like pure alizarin crimson right here. This is a really nice deep maroon. Yeah, this is really gross and messy. I mean, that's pretty much always oil pastel, but these are especially like that. And up here, I am going to do some early smudging, just because I really want that texture to be present from the get-go. Oh gosh, he looks like he needs a haircut. The other thing too, they keep breaking because they're so soft. Up here, there's a lot of sort of like a pale green. I wonder if I need to add a little bit more white to that. I'm going to just move back to the other photo so I can see a little bit better. Yeah, what is it, sweetie? Oh, Buddy wants to go out. Okay, give me a second, you guys. My spouse isn't home, so he wants to be let out. Come here. There you go. Good boy. Here's another art club thing I've been doing. Art club is now having its own video library. And what I've been doing is making video replies. So when people ask me questions in art club that are a little bit bigger, more complex, harder to type about, I'll just make a video. And sometimes I ramble up to 10 minutes, sometimes a 3-minute video. But I think these are really nice because some things are just so much easier for me to reply to in a video. Okay. Oh, Brian says, are you sure that's not a yellow jacket or a hornet? Oh, I have no idea. Maybe somebody could check. I'm just calling it a bee because I don't know any better. But yeah, tell me. Maybe somebody can do a Google image search and figure it out. Okay, let's get back to the wing. I want to get that like transparency that it has. At the very least, some highlights so we can see that better. Yeah, let's do some of this. This is sort of like Naples yellow. Yeah, I'm finding they're breaking a lot because they're so soft, which is not a problem. I mean, I'm always breaking my things. But for those of you guys who want your oil pastel experience to be a little bit less messy, this probably isn't the best fit for that. I love these wings, though. They're so pretty. A lot of this frosty green in them. Lots of purple and let's add some of that. Well, I don't know. It's sort of more like magenta. It's not really blue. Maybe that's it. Maybe I need magenta. I don't really have a very light magenta here. I'll try this one. Yeah, so these would not be good if you guys wanted to do something that was really detailed or needed to be very smooth. This is better for something that looks a little bit chunkier. I'm also going to add some very light blue. And then maybe I'll just put some white over it. I mean, these are extremely loose approximations of the color. I'm not really going to get it even remotely close. But I do want to show the value. We were just talking about value. And making sure I get that sheen. What's going on back here? Oh, yeah, that's really fun. Okay, cool. I still don't feel great about his body, though. You know, I'm going to pivot to this other one. I feel like the one that's more detailed is, I don't know, like the gesture isn't very good, which is why I wanted to use it with this one. But now I feel like I should just use this one. It's pretty messy. Shoot. I mean, it is fun for this stuff. Isn't that cool? All those textures. Like, I'm having fun just drawing on top of the strokes. Ugh, that's getting kind of nasty. Ew. Oh my God, he's like so furry. Look at him. He's like a furry little caterpillar. I think I'm overdoing it a bit. But isn't that the whole point of these live streams? Is to overdo it and then see what we do later. I'm just tossing in a little bit of blue so we get better contrast. Yeah, did anybody figure out what this thing is? Maybe it is a hornet. I love how you guys are my research team. Help me figure these things out. Okay, now I'm going to press pretty hard. Oh, and you know what I should do? I should just draw the color behind it, which is this sort of like neutral gray color. So I'm going to just put this like around the bee. Oh God, that's really hideous. I think it's a little bit warmer. See, this is where if you want to do like a nice, neat, smooth background, is harder. So I can smooth it out by doing this, but you can see making things smooth, it's like a lot of work. And so that's why I'm using it to be a little bit crazy in the body. Needs more contrast. I also don't feel like I have that really pretty glow that's back here. Want them to look nice and plump. You guys know I like plump things. And let me just add some purple back here, because I do want to not go too long without having the legs in there. I'm going to use this maroon again. We're just going to go right on top. Oh, that worked well. You see that coverage? Nice. You can also take like a palette knife if you want to like scrape it away. That can be another good thing. Ugh, this is a mess. Okay, he's got like a huge leg on this side. That one I'm going to switch to a blue because I feel like I'm sort of overusing the maroon. Yeah, this is really messy. I'm going to get some like neutral yellow ochre, I think would help me in here, give this a little more depth. Oh my God. This is like a, I don't know, he sort of looks like a Van Gogh ornate or whatever he is. Very messy. And I like these highlights back here. This is like furry highlight. I feel like I'm drawing a bee like it was a lion. It's a little silly. This up here, I am, oh man. See my hands? This is nasty. I gotta clean them with the rag. See if I can wipe away some of that white. Okay. I just want to get a textural difference because the wings are not all fuzzy like that. God, that red is really getting in the way. He looks really ridiculous. What is going on with this hair? We'll just see. He's really silly. I don't know. He's sort of like a bee with like a hair problem who's a little bit round and fat. I gotta bring back the light here. I think the light here is not that good. Oh, again, they're breaking. All right, let me take some close-ups so everybody can see where I am. And again, these will go in the Discord so you guys can see up close what these pastels are like. Oh my God, this is so out of control. This is like the opposite of how you should draw a bug. Okay. Let's see what's happening in the Discord. I'm going to post my images. I do really like these close-ups. These are pretty tasty. All right, so Jen says, I edited my own photo to change the mood and use as a reference for a painting I'm trying to make. Oh, wow. Good call, Jen. Yeah, when you use a reference, it's really helpful to spend some time fixing a couple things, because if we look at the earlier version, this looks pretty ordinary, like there isn't a very good sense of light. So Jen, the way that you're really focusing the light, darkening stuff up here, very good move. We also have Marta who says, looking a bit messy at this point. Time to start carving in the forms. Oh, I love some of these like muted purples. And then some of the peaches. Those are a really nice contrast against the purples, Marta. Oh, you printed the tulip. Still need to clean it up a little, says Zelda. Definitely getting faster at carving. Oh, what a beautiful print. It almost looks like an engraving, the way that you did the stuff down here. Like that totally looks like that S-curve engraving line. Manette is doing some super loose figure drawing. Oh, I love the, wow, these lines are so active, Manette. I know you had done that one, that profile of the woman with all the pen work. I can definitely see this coming from there. Okay, so this was the original version. And then we went to here. And now we are here. He's These are really silly. I did not set out to make an insect that looks like this, but here you guys can see better some of the close-ups. Like this is very thick, some of this orange in here. Here too, like you can see, it really almost looks like thick paint at that point. Here's some of the smearing. This part I probably would cut back. I probably would scrape it out. I think it got a little bit too thick. Oh, wow, Tara, so much progress. Pit pastels over the Hua Wan. Oil pastels is working well. Oh, I love that soft green. And then the pink and the plains. Oh, that's really coming along, Tara. Beautiful scene. That's the thing that I don't see very often is people oftentimes they'll just draw the bug. They don't draw the context. And you can see the context is everything in this piece. Oh, Neil, breakfast scene, work in progress. Oh, I love the gesture, Neil. This is so great. Not just the extension of the arm, but the way the hand is like all weird and curled around. That's lovely. I'm so glad that you're working on that. Okay, let me come in and let's see what people are saying in the comments. And remember, Art Club, that is our best program. I am so proud of the community we've built over there, the options, the activities for learning, and that it's a global community. So check it out. You are able to do a 1-week free trial of Art Club, and we have information about that in the description. So if you ever have questions about it, let us know. But out of everything we offer, it is hands down biggest bang for your buck. Okay. Lilia says, wonderful pastels. I love them a lot. Great work. Well, thank you so much, Lilia. Maybe the Van Gogh bee is buzzing next to some cypress trees or a wheat field. Fried says, the bee is out to make a statement on the current state of society. Oh, I didn't know that bees were that intelligent. I thought they were just busy. I always tell Mia that she's like a little busy bee because she's always just pumping out amazing paintings all the time. Lisa says, I often regret smudging. It seems out of place with the other marks. Yeah, smudging is hard to do well in oil pastels. I don't do it all the time. I prefer to just use the pastel to move it across the surface. It can be handy, but it can also be hard because once you start smearing things together, the tendency for the colors to get super muddy is just so much higher than if you don't smudge. Okay, so Randy, thank you, used Google Lens. Could be an Italian bee, which was introduced to the US in 1859. Cool. Oh, punk rock bee. Yes, I can use baby oil, but you know something? One of the things I don't like about adding baby oil is that it makes things a little slippery. And so if I want to add more pastel on top, it's a little bit harder. Actually, here, I wonder if you think Gamsol would be different because Gamsol is not all sticky like baby oil. So maybe with Gamsol, you wouldn't have that issue. But the problem with Gamsol is that it does have odors. So you do need to have windows open and things like that. You just couldn't resist, Slutnir, answering the question to bees or not to bees. Oh, Lisa, spatula knife. Oh, I could see why spatulas. There's a lot of like those baking things. Like I actually have a really tiny, thin spatula that's green. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, I should like paint with that or something. It looks like just the right size. Yes. and pesto techniques. This is absolutely up that alley. Oh, okay. So Blue Wolf says that's a bee, just not a big fat bumblebee. My favorite bee. Well, hey, you know, fat insect, of course. Oh, this is a good tip from Fried. Usually keep baby wipes handy when working with the HAIYA. There's no way to keep your hands clean with them. Oh, yes. I'm discovering that very quickly. This is very pink. At least it's not that like maroon blood red or something like that. And Lilia says, I have purchased jumbo size sets of HAIYA Paul Rubens. Oh, cool. See, I'm in the camp when it comes to pastels. The more colors, the better. Like if you offer me a 250 color set, I'm like, sign me up. Painting is the opposite. I want as few colors as possible because if I don't, I'm super lazy about mixing the colors. So tell me in the comments, are you like me? Is it the more the better? Or maybe you like limited palette, and maybe like me, it just depends on the material. Yeah, see, I love that you guys support each other. Like, nice comment from Blue about Neil's piece. Love the feelings you invoke in your work. Makes me want to go hug my family and yours. Hugs all around. So that's what we do in Art Club is we support each other. We lift each other up. And I think so often the idea of being an artist feels like it's about, oh, I'm alone in my room, I'm doing all these things. I mean, yeah, that's part of it, but there's a whole other element of being with other people, commiserating, getting ideas. I mean, I think you guys can probably see that nice thing about the Art Alongs channel is we see so much inspiration, people using oil pastels in such different ways. When I was in art school, I felt like more than half the learning was from me seeing how other people were using particular supplies. Remember, you can do a 1-week free trial. Okay, let's get back into it. I want to do a little bit more around the bee. At the very least, I want to get some of this like pinkish purple in here. I'm going to just do pink for now. I feel like the purples that are in the set are all really, really dark. And I sort of don't want to deal with that right now. So I'm just going to adjust the flowers to being pink instead of being so lavender. I do want some delineation. Yeah, let's just change it. They're pink. Flowers turn pink. That's something you can always do. If the color's not convenient for what you want to do, that's no problem. Oh, actually, I kind of like that. Okay, so maybe the pink flowers was a good thing. It's just this amount of white is a bad idea. Okay, hang on. Let me just move my camera because I'm working on this whole bottom area. I want you guys to be able to see that. For Mother's Day, I had a family member who brought over these really beautiful yellow flowers with like a red trim around them. And you know what's really terrible? Don't get me wrong, they're beautiful flowers, but I like them better when they died. Like they were prettier when they were dead for some reason. Has anybody else had that experience? I don't know. There's something about the texture, the way the flower wilts that I just think is so beautiful. Am I a weirdo or does anybody else feel this way? Oh, and I need to get, so there's a lot of this like really light yellowy green down here. That's definitely too bright, but I just want to throw something in there. Because with oil pastel, it does take some time to build things up. It's not something you can get going immediately. I like this. Okay, I feel much better. I felt like that purple I had before, it was just like really hard to get because there wasn't a nice light lavender color. Okay, this is kind of a pain drawing around. But what I would do is I'd go back and I draw the legs over. So that way we're not like totally losing the edge of things. Yeah, let me go back and I'm going to add some blue and we're going to try to get, oh, that's a nice blue. Oh my God, did you guys see that? Whoa. That is a really nice blue. So I guess my reaction to these is they're really well pigmented. Like they feel nice and thick. It's just, for my taste, they're too soft. I find them hard to control for that reason. Okay, I'm going to get in, I guess there's this like, I'm hoping this is like magenta. Oh no, it's not. I wish there was another pink, but there doesn't seem to be one. Let me try this. I just want to add a couple of points of value. All right, so do you guys think Brian's right? Is this a Van Gogh bee? Because I think he is. Maybe it's a Frank Auerbach bee. I don't know. That would be hilarious. We should do that. We should say like, okay, the art dare is draw a cupcake in the style of Francis Bacon. Like, wouldn't that be really, really funny? Because I know there's a lot of those challenges out there where people say, okay, well, for this week, draw this in this style. Tell me in the comments, how many of you guys have done those challenges before? Have you found them helpful? I think especially for character design, a lot of people do that. I know that Jordan recently finished a whole bunch of drawings that were supposed to be his way of experimenting with Sean Galloway's technique. Maybe I'll just smear for a little bit. I'm just curious. Let me try it with this rag because this white is like not. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little baby oil on the rag. Let's just push some of these things around because this pink is like not spreading the way I want it to be. And I don't want this to have to be a thing where I have to like color every single part in. So let's see what happens if I just go to town with this. It's probably going to look bad, but whatever. That's the thing that I like about the live streams is if I mess up, I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a learning experience, right? Okay, so that pulls in more of the pink. Yeah, see the pink, you guys, this is all that's left of the pink. Like I've already used up most of it. Some of these, like the white is gone. Just want to get the pink behind the bee here. And that way it'll stick out a little better. Oh, I lost his plump little body. Let's bring it back. I mean, I would say if you want to do a Van Gogh-like image, this is a good material for doing that. And that's sort of similar to what I did when I did that plein air piece of the tree outside the cabin. The one that had like all the colored eggs around it. I'm going to get a light gray. Yeah, I feel like a lot of these colors are pretty dark. Like I keep trying to reach for a light color and I'm not really getting it. So maybe in the bigger set, they have more light colors because I do feel like most of the set is pretty dark for color. Okay, I just want to tone this in. This part's really bothering me. It's too yellow. I need some of these cool colors in here. Maybe I'll just smudge this. See, I don't usually smudge that much, but that's why I think it's kind of fun to just do it anyway. All right, we're going to get in a little more Naples yellow back here. And I'm going to put some baby oil in my rag. We're just going to smush this around. Not something that I typically do, but maybe is appropriate for this. And you got to press pretty hard. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, that red is getting into everything. Yeah, so you can see the parts where I'm blending things in are getting pretty muddy very fast. Yeah, see the flowers, these are like really nice, like pretty flowers. So I don't really think the oil pastel is great for that, which is why I'm sort of smearing things around. Let's see what happens if I add a little bit of this magenta just to help articulate some of the flowers. Oh, and I want to give him a little, I want to draw his little like antenna things. They're so cute. Just give him a little more personality. Oh, he's so cute, you guys. Oh, I really like him. All right. I'm just going to add a couple spots of magenta. For now, I'm going to add a slight indication of some of these stems. I would want to do them better later, but I do think these little bits of green matter. I think these are a color that I want to get in here because there's like one over here and down here. That's more just setting me up if I sit down and work on this again. It's kind of fun. It's making a mess, but it's different, that's for sure. It's not how I typically use pastels. It's more like, you guys probably saw me do that bulldog. Like that's more how I typically use it, which is why I'm trying this. Because who knows? Obviously, it needs an absurd amount of work, but that's kind of fun. Ew, very sticky. If you guys don't like sticky things, this is not the material for you, FYI. All right, let's see what people are saying in the comments. Oh, I forgot to take a photo. Okay, give me a sec. Let's get a photo of the whole thing. This is, you guys, this is totally a Van Gogh bee. Like, bees don't look like this. This is not really very bee-like. But I am having fun with that background. It sort of makes me think a little bit of Odilon Redon's backgrounds. That color combination is fun. Okay. Put these in the Discord. I do like that background. It's kind of cute. Okay. Let's see what's happening in the Discord. Did we peer pressure some of you to join us there? Because it's pretty fun. It's where I hang out a lot of my day. Okay, so now you guys can see a little better. Lisa says, yikes, my first attempt needed white pen surgery. Oh, and he looks like he's like moving really, really fast, Lisa. That is great. And I love how the wings are just these like zigzags going down the center. Whoa, Marta, look at these mushrooms. Those are, what is that? That's real? Okay, that's insane, those colors. So let me show you guys up close. Okay, so this is where the composition is for now. It's a mess. And then these are some of the close-ups. So this is more what I was doing earlier on. But I was kind of excited about this background. Like, this is not a background that I would typically do, having all the smudging and stuff. Yeah, like I kind of like this, the sort of like pale, mild blue and green with the light pink. I feel like these are colors that Mia would use really well. Like she does beautiful, like soft, subtle, muted colors that are typically not really my thing. Yeah, so here's where I'm wiping with the rag. I gotta do that more next time. That was actually kind of fun. Yeah, so here you can see I drew some of the pink around the legs. Definitely too many patches of white. I would have to go in there and clean that up. But I also like the idea of this being like really, really thick. And then this has still got some of the color of the paper going. And I think that's actually pretty cool. So anyway, that's where we landed. Let's come in here and take a look at the comments. We also have, Brian says, if this were given a title, would it be Flight of the Bumblebee? I think this bumblebee has like a hair problem. I think his hair is like, I don't know, it like grew too thick or something. And now he just has been lazy and hasn't been washing it. I feel like that's what it is. Goth beast. That's it, 7A. That's what I drew. Oh, interesting. Neil says, I feel like the Mungyo has too many light colors, not enough darks. This is the opposite. Yeah, I was really feeling the lack of brighter colors. It's kind of hard to get that luminosity, which is why I switched to the pink for the flowers. So Blue Wolf is saying, try the pencil eraser to smear and move it around. Those little tips that you put on the end of the pencil are good for that. Oh, I've never done that before. Katz says, I keep forgetting I want to try baby oil with my pastels. Oh, it's super fun. Yeah, the white, is it gone? I think it might be gone. Let me just double check. I can't remember. Oh, no, it's not. I think I got gung shy with it because I knew it was like disappearing, but I used about half of it. I think the pink might have used half of it, which is not bad, but that is noticeably a lot quicker to get rid of compared to, say, like the Mungyo or something. Okay, so Fried says it's very hard to do a full picture with just HAIYA unless you let it set for a day or two in between layers. The paper draws out some of the oil and the pastel hardens a little. Oh, I'll keep an eye on it and see. I haven't used these before. Thank you so much, Victor, for the super sticker. We so much appreciate your support. We also have, you guys are all talking about death here. Memento Mori, reminder of death. Those are the flowers that I saw. I know, Jen. I'm still a goth at heart. Today, one of my kids was like, I want a pair of Doc Martens. I'm like, I'll go buy it for you. Neil says, I'm obsessed with dead sunflowers. I have a whole Pinterest board for them. Oh, they're so lovely. The shapes and yeah, love that. We have a question from Cats, which of course I just lost. Here it is. What is delineation? I'm sure there's many ways you can use that word. For me, it's all about like tightening up so the edge is more clear of a line. I use it for that context, but I'm sure people use it for other things as well. Sorry, Victor. Yeah, you'll have the replay, obviously, but for me, they're very close to Sennelier. Just a little bit less smeary, but they're very soft. I think out of everything, like if I had to pick one oil pastel brand for the rest of my life, it probably would be Mungyo, because I think those have the creaminess, the strength of pigment. They are soft, but not too soft. These to me are a little bit too soft. Like I would want to use them in conjunction with the Mungyo. Seven A says, I always like the idea of a limited palette, but then when I actually get the things, I'm like, yeah, I want every color. Of course you do. I mean, look at how nice it is. The more, the better. Blue says, weren't those pastels neatly arranged at the start? How did they get so jumbled? It's called Clara doesn't know how to keep things nice. They're pretty nasty right now. That's it. Pastel salad. That's exactly what we are looking at, everybody. Remember, everybody, we still have spots left in the Vibrant Portraits workshop and also in the Drawing Bugs workshop. Remember, everybody, that Art Club is our best program for learning. We have Art Club art-alongs, which are really fun because I can stop and critique people's work because it's a nice small group. And I also am able to do things like video replies and a lot of other things. If you are not in our Discord, I encourage you to join because we have so much fun in there. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.